It was June 1944. The war had been raging for 5 long years. The world was burning, and yet, in a small corner of France, a young soldier named Thomas Reynolds wrote what would become the last words his family would ever hear from him. Thomas was just 22, a farm boy from Nebraska. He had never left his hometown before the war. Letters from him always carried warmth, small stories about home, jokes about missing cornfields, and dreams of returning to his mother's kitchen. But the summer of 1944 was different. The battles were fiercer, the nights darker. Thomas knew the dangers ahead. On June 17th, he took a quiet moment amidst the chaos and poured his heart into a letter to his younger sister, Emily. "Dear Emily," he wrote, "if you are reading this, it means I did not make it back. I want you to know that I loved every moment of our childhood, every sunrise on the farm, every laugh we shared, every simple day that seemed ordinary but was truly extraordinary." Thomas's letter wasn't just words. It was a final embrace, a whisper to the family he would never see again. He spoke of courage, of the beauty of life, and of forgiveness. He begged Emily not to let anger or sadness consume her, and to always remember the good in people even in the darkest of times. Historians later discovered Thomas's unit had been part of a secret operation in Normandy. They faced impossible odds. Every man knew the chances were slim, but Thomas's concern was never for himself, it was for those he loved, for the family waiting for his safe return. His final words reveal a soul at peace. Despite the horror surrounding him, Emily never received the letter immediately. It traveled months, bouncing through military mail offices, weathered and torn, until it finally reached her small home in Nebraska. When she opened it, she felt every word as if Thomas were there, speaking directly to her heart. This letter, simple yet profound, reminds us that even amidst war and humanity endure. Thomas Reynolds' final words would touch generations, a whisper from the past that still breaks hearts today. After writing his letter, Thomas folded it carefully and placed it in an envelope, sealing it with the small piece of wax he had saved from home. Around him, the sounds of war were deafening. Explosions shook the earth, and distant cries of men echoed through the night. Yet, in that moment, Thomas felt a strange calm, as if writing to Emily gave him strength to face whatever lay ahead. His unit was preparing for an assault near a small village in Normandy. Intelligence had warned of heavy resistance, and many soldiers feared they wouldn't return. But Thomas, ever the optimist, focused on small gestures, checking his fellow soldiers' equipment, sharing rations, offering words of encouragement. He had a quiet courage that didn't need recognition. It was in the way he treated others with respect and care, even as chaos raged around him. That night, Thomas wrote a few lines to Emily he hadn't dared to say before. "If I don't return," he whispered to himself as he wrote, "remember that I am proud of you. Remember that love can survive even when life is cruel. Do not cry for me, little sister. Live fully, laugh often, be kind, always." The next morning, the soldiers advanced. The sky was gray, clouds hanging low, and rain began to fall, mixing with mud and blood on the battlefield. Thomas moved forward with his unit, always mindful of others. He saved a young comrade from a sudden explosion, carried him to safety, and refused to leave until every man in his squad was accounted for. As the day wore on, Thomas was struck by shrapnel. He fell to the ground, rain washing over his face. In those final moments, he thought of Emily, the farm back home, and the simple life he had dreamed of. He clutched the letter in his hand, whispering a silent goodbye to the world. The war would continue, battles would rage, but for Thomas, it ended with a heart full of love and peace. Months later, the letter finally arrived at Emily's home. She opened it slowly, feeling each word pierce her heart. Tears flowed, but they were mixed with a sense of comfort. Thomas had left her not just memories of sorrow, but a legacy of courage, love, and hope. Even today, historians and families read letters like Thomas's, reminders that humanity can exist even in the darkest times. That even when the world is broken, small acts of love, bravery, and kindness endure. And in that enduring spirit, the heart of a soldier lives on, whispering across generations. Do not give up. Love, always love. Thomas Reynolds's final words are not just a story of loss. They are a testament to the human spirit, a letter that will break your heart, yet leave you inspired. In the silence after the war, his message echoes, even amidst despair, hope survives. When Emily finished reading the letter, she held it against her chest and closed her eyes. For a moment, it felt like Thomas was standing right beside her, speaking gently, the way he always used to. The loss was unbearable, yet the love inside the letter gave her strength to breathe again. Emily walked to the small barn behind their home, the place where she and Thomas spent countless hours as children, laughing, playing, dreaming about the future. She sat there for hours, reading Thomas's words again and again, feeling both heartbreak and healing with every sentence. News soon spread through the town about Thomas's sacrifice. Neighbors, teachers, and old friends stopped by the Reynolds home, offering condolences and sharing stories about him. They remembered him not as a soldier lost in war, but as a kind boy who always put others first. Emily kept the letter safe in a small wooden box under her bed. Every year, on Thomas's birthday, she would read it aloud, keeping his memory alive. Over time, she memorized every line, every word etched into her heart forever. Years passed. The war ended, people rebuilt their lives, and the world slowly found peace again. But Emily never forgot her brother's final message. She grew up carrying his words like a lantern through the darkest parts of life. Whenever she felt lost or afraid, she opened the letter and heard Thomas whisper, "Do not give up. Love, always love." When Emily became a mother, she shared Thomas's story with her children. She told them about the courage of a young man who went to war but never let hatred enter his heart. She read them the letter, teaching them that even in moments of fear and loss, humanity and kindness must remain. The letter eventually became a family treasure passed down through generations. Thomas's great-grandchildren would later read it in history class, realizing that the brave soldier, written in textbooks, was part of their own bloodline. The letter touched not just one family, but thousands of people who learned about it over the years. Historians say that personal letters like Thomas's are some of the most powerful artifacts of the Second World War. They remind us that behind every uniform was a son, a brother, a friend, someone with dreams, fears, and a heart full of love. These letters show us the true cost of war, not just battles and dates, but the lives and emotions of ordinary people who gave everything. Today, Thomas Reynolds' final letter is preserved in a small museum in Nebraska. Visitors come from all over America to read his words, often leaving with tears in their eyes. They stand in silence, imagining the young soldier sitting in the rain, writing the last message he would ever send home. Thomas's voice lives on not through medals or monuments, but through a simple letter written with love, a letter that still breaks hearts, a letter that reminds us that even when the world is at war, the human soul can choose peace. Years later, long after the war had ended, Thomas's letter continued to travel, this time not through military mail, but through the hearts of everyone who read it. What began as a final message from a brother to his sister slowly became a symbol of hope for people far beyond Nebraska. In the late 1960s, a local historian discovered the letter while interviewing Emily for a project on wartime families. He asked if he could share Thomas's words with a small group of students. Emily agreed, believing her brother's message could help others understand the true meaning of love and sacrifice. The reaction was overwhelming. Students cried, teachers cried. The letter touched everyone who heard it. Soon, the historian published an article about Thomas's final message, and it spread through newspapers across the country. Americans from every state wrote letters to Emily thanking her, honoring Thomas, and sharing how deeply his words had moved them. Some said it reminded them of their own brothers, fathers, or grandfathers who never came home. Others said it helped them heal wounds that had stayed hidden for decades. And many simply said that Thomas's letter restored their faith in humanity. By the 1980s, Thomas's letter was displayed at a memorial event dedicated to WW2 families. Veterans, some now old and frail, stood silently in front of the glass case, holding his letter. Many saluted, some wiped away tears, and others softly whispered that they remembered young men just like Thomas, boys who fought bravely and loved fiercely. Emily attended the event too. She stood beside the display, watching strangers from across America feel the same emotions she had felt the day she first opened the envelope. She realized then that her brother's voice had never died. It had become a gentle force of healing, reaching people who needed comfort. Even decades later, when Emily passed away, her children made sure the letter stayed safe. They donated it to a small museum in Nebraska, the same place Thomas had dreamed of returning to. The museum created a dedicated room called The Last Letter, where visitors could sit, read, and listen to Thomas's story. People describe the room as peaceful, quiet, warm, filled with soft music and dim lights. Some visitors walk out wiping tears, others stay for a long time, thinking about the people they've lost, or the words they wish they had said. Today, the letter remains one of the museum's most cherished artifacts. School groups visit to learn not just about war, but about love, family, and humanity. Veterans visit to find closure. Families visit to remind themselves that kindness survives even through unimaginable pain. Thomas Reynolds never made it home, but his words did. His voice, captured on a small piece of paper during the darkest days of the war, still speaks to us. It reminds us that even when the world collapses, even when hope seems impossible, love remains, and sometimes, a single letter can keep a soldier's heart alive forever. In the years that followed, Thomas's letter became more than a memory. It became a message for the entire world. Visitors from every corner of America, and even from Canada, came to Nebraska just to see the small piece of paper that carried a soldier's final heartbeat. Many said the same thing after reading it. This letter doesn't just tell a story, it makes you feel it. One winter evening, a young Marine named Jacob visited the museum. He had lost a close friend in Afghanistan and carried heavy guilt on his shoulders. When he entered the quiet room where Thomas's letter was displayed, he felt a calm he hadn't felt in years. Jacob read each line slowly, imagining Thomas writing in the rain, imagining Emily opening the letter months later, imagining the family that had carried this pain and love for generations. When Jacob finished reading, he placed his hand gently on the glass and whispered, "Thank you, I needed this." Visitors like Jacob came every month: soldiers, mothers, widows, students, people dealing with grief, people searching for hope. Each person found something different in Thomas's words, yet somehow everyone found healing. Emily's grandchildren eventually created an audio recording of the entire letter, narrated in a soft American voice. The museum added it as a permanent feature, so visitors could sit quietly and listen just as Emily once did, hearing Thomas's emotions as if he were alive again. Over time, teachers from all over the USA began using the letter in their classrooms. They used it to teach not just history, but compassion. Students learned that war isn't just about borders and battles, but about families waiting at home, hopes carried across oceans, and the final messages left behind by those who never return. One Canadian historian called the letter a bridge between the past and the present, a reminder that a single voice can echo across generations. And it was true, because Thomas's voice didn't fade, it grew louder with every life it touched. In the museum guestbook, people often wrote messages like, "I came to learn history, but I found something deeper. Thomas reminded me to forgive. This letter helped me let go of someone I lost." Even with the passing of time, people continued to return. Parents brought their children, veterans brought their families, young couples came to understand the meaning of sacrifice. Today, Thomas Reynolds's letter is considered one of the most emotional wartime letters ever preserved in America, not because it describes battle, but because it describes love. Pure, simple, powerful love. As visitors leave the museum, they pass a small plaque on the wall. It reads, "War takes lives, love saves them," and beneath it, another line, graved in gold, "Letter of Private Thomas Reynolds, 1944. His body fell in Normandy, but his heart came home." This is the legacy of a young soldier who never returned, but whose final words continue to heal, inspire, and break hearts. Even today,